The books of Kings and Chronicles are probably linked in your head. They cover most of the same history, but they answered completely different questions. Kings answers the question of God's failure to protect his covenant people. It wasn't that he lacked power, but that Israel lacked the requisite righteousness to have a relationship with a holy God. Chronicles answers whether or not God is done with Israel forever, or if the exile was simply a punishment and they still have a chance to have a relationship with him. The chronicler will answer this question using three lines of reasoning. His first argument is in Chronicles 1 through 9, where he includes the genealogies of all 12 tribes of Israel. They've been in exile for a long time, around 70 years for the southern nation, but around 200 years for the northern nation. So they've forgotten which tribe has which responsibilities toward God, and thanks to Nebuchadnezzar sacking Jerusalem and destroying the temple, they can't go find those records anywhere. In 1 Chronicles 1 through 9, God supplies those records for Israel, again indicating in a not so subtle manner that if Israel wanted it, God was still open to a relationship with them. The chronicler uses a secondary argument to tell Israel that they can regain the relationship with him. He reminds them of their glory days under David and Solomon, but he's going to rewrite history, or at least refocus on certain facts to the exclusion of others, to accomplish his purpose. The chronicler is going to leave out every negative thing David and Solomon did, with the exception of David's census. I think he does that to remind Israel how good life was under those righteous kings. But if they lived righteously, they could return to those glory days. The chronicler is going to be fairly specific in his definition of what it means to be righteous. He's going to focus on the temple. And in fact, he's going to include David's first act as king being to bring the Ark of the Covenant to its forever home in Jerusalem. And through his repeated focus on the temple, it seems to be telling Israel that to return to the relationship they enjoyed with God before the exile, they needed to worship correctly, their idolatry being one of the reasons for the exile in the first place. The final argument the chronicler is going to give for Israel continuing in their relationship with God is the idea of what we might call immediate retribution. The generation that grew up during the exile complained they had never worshipped idols, or they had never been guilty of the charges the author of Kings leveled at Israel that caused the exile. In Chronicles, you're going to find God holding each generation accountable for its own sins. If you're righteous, he will allow you to build, have many children, and have victory in battle. If you're evil, you won't get any of those things. This satisfies the new generation's claim about the fairness of their punishment, while at the same time serving as a warning of what would happen when they tried to return to Israel and were not faithful. Chronicles is important because it affirms Israel, even the northern nation, as God's covenant people even after the exile.